everybody, Danny here. Thought I'd walk you through a little project that I ran into some problems with, and I was trying to research online an answer to the problem and couldn't find one. So I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity to make a video to maybe help you if you are encountering this problem, which is drilling into very thin plaster walls that are right on top of brick. A lot of you might live in cities. I'm here in New York City, and a lot of these pre-war buildings are brick, and they don't have studs in the walls. There's no, lathing. It's just brick, and then they immediately just put plaster right on top. And it's nice. It's really, really, beautiful plaster. Hard plaster walls is really nice. It insulates, I think, the temperature really well. But if you're looking to hang artwork up on your wall, or if you're putting hooks up, which are load bearing, if something's pulling on what you're attaching to the wall, you want to really make sure that it's anchored well and that it's not going to just pull out. You're not just going to drill a screw into plaster, because plaster is brittle and it falls apart really easily. Sheetrock, which many of you might have as well, is resilient. So if you drill a screw into sheetrock, the material, almost like a sponge, sort of forms and grips around the tread on the screw. I think there's a better word for it than tread. But for plaster, if you just drill into plaster, it's like biting into a tortilla chip. It just crumbles. As soon as you start screwing in, it just can't even bother. So thought I would walk you through the process of trying two different techniques, one of which failed, one of which works. And so by watching this video, you'll hopefully learn for your project the right type of anchors to use in thin plaster walls. Follow along. So here in our home, in the foyer, there's this space that's perfect for hanging coats on the wall. We currently just pile them up near the couch, but this is the wall that we want to put a coat rack on. And I went ahead and ordered this pretty sleek looking matte black coat rack that I think will be great. The real question, of course, is how do I install it on the wall, knowing that there's only about less than a half an inch of plaster before I hit brick. So I'm going to walk you through two different processes, one with plastic anchors and one with metal. But before I get started, the first step, of course, is to just center it within this inlay. I don't want it to ignore the inlay. I want it to look like it's sort of taking it into consideration. And centering it, leveling it, and then in the two different holes, just marking it on the wall where the anchors will be placed. So I have two different sets of anchors. We'll see which ones do the job better. These plastic ones that are lightweight, and then these other ones that are metal, that have little screws that go with them. You're going to need a set of drill bits, so make sure you have this handy. And so we're going to see which one works best for our needs. Worth noting that the coat rack itself comes with these dinky little plastic ones that I am just so confident will not do the job, so we're not going to be using those, but we might use the screws that it comes with. But yeah, just really confident that that'll just pull right out of the wall, so not going to be using that. So you're going to need some drill bits for this project. For these plastic anchors, in order to go into the wall without crumbling, you're going to want to pre-drill a smaller hole that can sort of account for the actual pointy part of the anchor before it grips in. So your first step, of course, is just swapping out the driver for the drill bit. And you can see here, as soon as you start drilling into the wall, it just crumbles, and then boom, I hit brick pretty soon. And if I push much harder, I can sort of hear the brick, and it's a mortar bit, so it can go into brick, but it's still not like going into wood. There's a lot of resistance here and a lot of crumbling that's happening. So It's really these city buildings that you're going to have this sort of experience. So swapping out the drill bit for the Phillips head driver attachment. It's going to go well with these plastic anchors. Let's make our way back over to the foyer and see what we're dealing with here. So the tip of the anchor fits really perfectly into the Phillips head bit, and it helps you sort of gain leverage as you bring it to the wall. The hole that we drilled, it slips right in, and if you start screwing slowly, you'll see, and immediately I felt the plastic break. The plastic part of the anchor totally broke off and fell out of the wall. You can see it here. So the verdict is nope, plastic anchors are not the way to go. Let's take a look at these metal ones instead. So just grabbing a drill bit based on the back of the package, it'll tell you what size drill bit to drill the hole to match the metal anchor. We're going to go right on top of the plastic part that's stuck in the wall and create a bigger entry in the brick. That fits right in, and just giving it a little bit of a tap with the hammer really sets it into the brick of the wall. And then once again, just widening the other hole to account for the wider metal anchor, the masonry anchor, making this hole a little bit larger for it. And then just grabbing that anchor and then pushing it into the hole in the masonry, grabbing the hammer real quick, and giving it a light tap, boom, boom, boom. And now positioning the coat rack up to the holes, I'm able to use the screws it actually came with, and I'm just drilling it right into the wall, into those metal anchors, which have locked into the brick. One thing to note is once you screw in, the anchor itself has these little pieces that pop out and really grip into the masonry. So what happens is you get a really tight, nice fit, which is good for heavy coats. And the nice thing about this coat rack is it comes with these little caps which actually cover the screw holes so that you're not stuck looking at the Phillips head screw, and instead it just pops right on into place on either side. I'll put a link to this coat rack below in case you're interested. So far I've been pretty happy with how it's been holding up. And there you go, looking great. There you have it. We have a nice solid coat rack right in our foyer. We use the right anchors in the wall, and I feel confident that I can put heavy coats on these hooks without it falling out of the thin plaster walls with the brick right behind it. Hope this video is helpful to you. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. And thank you all. Take care.